How do we deal with vulnerable adults who are also our employees? A vulnerable adult has been described by the government as somebody who is over the age of 70 or who is pregnant or who has an underlying health condition, being any adult instructed to get the flu jab each year on medical grounds. Now, currently, it's not absolutely mandatory to have employees at home at the moment self-isolating, but the government has strongly recommended that wherever possible. That was in the same speech as the government encouraging working from home as far as is possible. And we promote a risk assessment to identify whether they can work from home, and if they do fall into a higher risk category, prioritising them getting to that stage of working away from the workplace. If it's not possible, and in many industries and employments that is the case, we need to identify whether it is safe for them to continue working from your premises. That will need a risk assessment, and we may need to look at other adjustments that we can implement, such as some form of isolation or distancing with their workspace, preventing them from using communal facilities, or at least providing something that might not be used or is more regularly cleaned and sanitised for their use. And possibly also amending start and finish times if they, for example, use public transport at peak times. All those adjustments may help to maintain their attendance in the workplace. If that is not possible to keep them at work and they must remain at home, it is arguable that that would open up the possibility of paying SSP on the basis that they would be isolating on medical advice. If the government announced mandatory self-isolation for these groups, and it is expected fairly imminently, it was referred to in Boris Johnson's speech at the beginning of the week, home working should again be considered. If that's not possible, again, employees will be entitled to SSP, but unless they present with any other symptoms or any other active illness, they're unlikely to be entitled to any applicable company sick pay. That being said, as an employer, you may wish to provide more support to your employees, but it is a conundrum as to how far that support goes, particularly in circumstances where we do not know at this stage how long a higher risk employee may be required to self-isolate for. It may therefore be time to start looking at other support that the employees may be entitled to receive. For example, mortgage holidays have already been confirmed by the government. For those in rented accommodation, there is protection from eviction. That was announced more recently. And measures may be extended to, for example, utility bill holidays or council tax breaks. If that's the case, before looking at simply maintaining full pay, employers should understand exactly what savings an employee may be making, and then perhaps adjust their position accordingly. That may mean looking at things on an individual basis, but that is an alternative to confirming what might be quite an open-ended arrangement on full pay.